The garden is tilled and we are making steps to planting. Every day we are getting a little bit closer. So I'm going to show you a little bit what we've been doing here in the garden to build up this not so great soil. It will grow food. It will grow food. We're just going to speak that. But what I did basically is I have been marking out the rows. One, where like the best soil is, because there's pockets in here that is better than others. And I marked them out. I am topping them with, I would say like 3 to 4 inches of topsoil. And then when I go to plant, I'm gonna top it again with like maybe 2 inches of compost and kind of plant into that. So let me show you what I've done so far. You can see I did stakes and I basically watched the garden the whole day just to kind of see where the sun and shade was hitting, and I just kept moving those back stakes forward to meet at least the 6-hour minimum of sun, and then kind of base my crops off of that. So like this section down here in front of the garden by the grapevine is some of the best soil and it gets the most sun. So my tomatoes are gonna go over there, the crops that I really want to do well this year. And then over here, I'm thinking like peppers, because there's a little bit of afternoon shade along here. And because we're in the south, peppers like a little afternoon shade because it gets so hot here. And then the back row gets nice sun, and that's the back of the garden here is the north side, and my okra will probably go along that wall over there. And then in the middle here, we have some stakes where I'm thinking of arch trellises. I'm just trying to finalize that. And then the buckets back there, we have a raised bed that I'm putting right in the middle. It's kind of like the focal point of the garden. We still need to build that. And I'm gonna put things in there that I know I want to harvest this year, and that is lunchbox peppers, because it's like my family's favorite. So they're gonna go in the raised bed just to ensure we have success. But what I've done is I put the topsoil on top, and then I stuck cardboard on top of that until I'm ready to plant, just so the topsoil doesn't get like super hard and dried out and the earthworms come, because soil that's covered really draws the earthworms. So we're getting there. We have a few things to do this morning, and then this afternoon we're gonna get to work again, and my hope is that this weekend we could be planting tomatoes. Peppers I will wait to plant until the nights are like in the mid 50s, just because peppers don't like to be cold. So we're getting there, and Clint's working on the gate into the garden. It's all coming together, but today's another work day. You do little by little what you can. But I do want to show you something that I'm super proud of and that has kind of been my saving grace in building new garden beds this year, and that is my herb garden. So when we moved in September, this area was crazy. Maybe we have a picture, I'm not sure. But the weeds touched the top of the garage there, and we started to uncover it, and I'm pretty sure it was a garden at some point. There was just so much junk, but there was evidence of there being a garden. So the soil here was really, really rich. And we brought our chicken manure from the old house, and I layered it on there, put cardboard down, put some topsoil, and this soil in the spring was beautiful. So with a little work, you can build soil. And this will be my herb and like kitchen garden. We're also calling it the snack garden for this year, because I did put some cucumbers in here because the space was ready. Some peas are growing. So let me give you a little bit of a tour of what's growing in here. So right now we have just some wire up to keep the chickens out so they don't completely dig it up. This was all stuff that was left on the property, and some like, you know, janky little things to make it function for now. Which I don't mind at all. And these stepping stones we found on the property, buried here and there. The kids uncovered them, which was, I love walking like stones in a garden. One, because I have small children and small feet like to step on small things. But if there is a path, they will stay on the path. So you come into the garden, I have calendula planted all along the path. So this is gonna be bursting with color soon. And then because nothing else was ready, my onions are in here this year. So next year they'll be in the main garden. But for now they are just doing so well there. And all of my herbs are coming up like so beautifully. These were all like small little starts I took from my huge perennial plants the last house, and they're all coming up. I've been harvesting tea out of here. I'm a big fan of drinking my herbs in that way. So, you know, just come out, chop some lemon balm with a little sprig of oregano, some St. John's wort, some black tea thyme. It's really yummy tea. It's really good for your immune system, all the things. But wanted to show you this, and then we're gonna get to work on the garden, putting more topsoil in there, all of that fun stuff. So I'll show you what I'm doing today. One of the things that I knew I'd want to establish right away on this property is some perennials, and I've really missed them this spring, but someone else is enjoying them this year, and that's okay too. Sometimes you plant for someone else to harvest, but I knew that I would miss those things if I didn't get them in the ground right away. So we planted blackberries and asparagus right away this year, and they're doing so good. Let me show you. So this is a thornless blackberry, and we have them planted all along the back side of the fence here, and they seem super happy. And then down here we have the asparagus coming up.
Mommy.
And so because this is its first year, we're not gonna harvest any of it. We're just gonna let it go to fern. These are 2-year-old crowns that I bought, so hopefully next year we can harvest a little bit. I might let them get established next year too. But they're all along the back fence here, and they are super happy with the grapevine that we've reclaimed, and I'm super happy with how this area has turned out. So that gives me hope for the rest of the garden that we'll get there. We'll do what we can today and go from there. I was getting ready to bring more topsoil into the garden, and then realized I really need to know where my trellises are going, the width and stuff. So figured out measuring that. I'm gonna pound in these T-posts, so then I at least know to put compost along the line where the T-post is. Clint will have to help me make a trellis out of the cattle panel, because I can't do that alone. So I'm gonna put some of these in the ground. This is what we call an Amish eye. I don't even know where the term Amish eye came from, but I've been saying it all my life. And it's whenever you're like not using tape measure, but you're just kind of eyeballing it up. It's called an Amish eye. The topsoil is full of worms, so I am grateful for this topsoil this year. That's basically gonna be my afternoon. It's going to be getting topsoil from the pasture with the mower, dumping it here, leveling it out, and then I'll cover it until I need to plant, and then put compost on at that time. So little by little, we are reclaiming this space, reclaiming our roots, and just being faithful with what we're given. And right now it's a rocky, sandy mixture of a garden, and that's okay. Next up is planting. Stay tuned.